All right, welcome back, folks. This is BG, and thanks again for tuning in. We've been a little away from the bench for a while, so getting caught up, getting back into the swing of things. First off, we're going to talk about the Bronco kit, and we have. I really like this. I really like this kit a lot, and I would say that if you weren't doing anything super spectacular with it, this would be a great choice for the 48-hour group build that's coming up here pretty soon. Not a bad idea. So if you got one of these in the stash, this could be very tackleable. No real fit issues that I have come across. Just a lot of high part count on the chassis and interior, and then some nice looking graphics and stuff for the body. I did discover a viewer had asked what the difference between this version and the Grand Banks version that's came out recently. The difference, as far as I can tell, is different wheels and different graphics. And I think there's different color. The real one have different color options, but honest. Oh, and then there is a difference on the bumper. It doesn't have that push bar. I think that's about it. But yeah, that's basically the difference is the decal package, the wheels, and it doesn't have the little push bar on the bumper. That's all I could tell. But I'm really liking how this guy's coming along here. We have all the windows in except for the passenger and driver side, but we do have the windows in the top there, and the upper interior pieces are all attached. And now we're going to go through and do a little bit of hand painting to fill in some of the spots that might be a little bit bare. Figure that, because I didn't quite know how that was going to line up and stuff. So there are a couple little bald spots here and there. But look at that. The sun visors fit right. That lines up really nicely. That is very cool. We did do some masking around here to try and do some rubber black so we can get some nice looking molded pieces on there. And in the back here, we have some decals, the prancing horse or jumping horse or landing horse or whatever you want to call it, and, the bucking bronco, I guess. And then over here is our little Ford logo. Now, something that I was having a bit of an issue with these particular decals, the decal film seems to be a bit on the thick side. It could be a choice on AMT's part for making things a little more on the robust side, since this kit does sort of seem like it's targeted towards a less experienced builder, thus the more snap together type of aspect of it. But nothing against AMT, but the decal sheet does have multiples of some things that could be considered something that will get lost or damaged easily while trying to apply. So there are a couple of Ford logos. There's a couple of logos for the decals for the dashboard and the instrument panels and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool. I'm glad to see that they're adding some extras in here and there. So we had some trouble with getting that Ford logo to conform. We just kept swabbing it with the microsol, and then eventually ended up just putting a little bit of TS22, I think it is, over the top of it, just some gloss clear, just dabbed that on there and let that set up, and then came back and did the whole thing in semi-gloss transparent to just seal everything up. I did the same thing on the grill. I decided to go with the white lettering since we have a white top. I thought that would be a nice tie-in. And then assembled the headlight pieces. We do have side markers that are decals also. Those fit on there pretty well since it's more of a flat surface. So that was great. And then our wheels, we have little decals down inside the hubs. Those came out pretty well. And then the chassis, we already showed you the underside, but we are thinking about adding some cargo in there because we want this guy to be on a camping trip, sort of. So we have some cargo stowage back here and look at. And then if things go to plan, I can talk about this stuff a little bit later on. But for right now, we're not 100% sure if you're going to see it because the windows are so dark, you might not see anything in there unless it's all painted Dayglow orange, and then that won't look cool. But yeah, that's kind of where that guy is at right now. We're so close to doing final assembly, but the only thing, and I could have this displayed with the top off of it so you can see the cargo inside, but the purpose for building this, I need to have the roof on there, and I'll definitely do a video about why we're doing that in the following weeks, days, hours maybe. But that's that for the Bronco. Over there, look where I'm pointing. There you go. Good job. New guy behind the camera. Over there we have the rally car. We did manage to fill in that little disc with a little piece of styrene disc. That's actually a long time ago. I got a punch set from Micromark. Yeah, it was expensive, but I bought that back in. Actually, I take that back. It was a gift I got for Christmas one year, like I don't know, back in the aughts. But it's paid for itself over and over and over and over again. So I really think that that's something worth getting. It really helped out. I just need to do a little bit of a skin over it with a little bit of, just a tiny bit of putty, and I think we'll blend it in. I could just leave it as it is because it is supposed to be a door there. And yes, there are photographs out there apparently of this car without a door on there running around in the Monte Carlo Rally. Our friend James Duff was happy to point out my mistake, so thanks, James. But I decided to fill it anyway because I didn't want to deal with the decal not fitting on that because I was having enough trouble with decals coming apart elsewhere on the car. So we went ahead and filled that in, and I like the challenge of doing that. It was a nice little addition I could do to that, make it my own. The interior is all done. It's all painted up and all glued together and all decaled up. I am not a fan of decals for seat belts. I just don't think they look the part. I did go over them with a pass of flat clear to see if I could make them look a little more realistic, and it helped. It helped out a lot, but it's not 100% awesome. But the photo etch set that we got for the Tamiya car has a couple little doodads here and there that this kit didn't offer. So it had this really cool piece of metal to bend up and be like the bracket for a box. And I'm like, cool, awesome. I didn't have anything in the kit for it, so I went digging through the parts box and found this half of an oil pan I cut off and then shaped it a little bit better and then glued it in place there. So it's a thing. It's a Greebly. There's a Greebly inside my my Toyota Rally car. The underside, this is as far as we're going to go on the underside for right now because you do have to do some manhandling to get this inside the body, and I don't want to be snapping off wheels or the fine little pins that hold all the struts in place, all that jazz. So planning on actually tackling that separately because the instructions do say to do the marrying of the body and the chassis together in marriage. But yeah, the instructions do ask us to finish out the fitting of the underside after doing that, and there's probably a good reason why. Wheels and tires, mostly done. I still have decals to put on the lower half of the wheel or the upper half of the wheel, whichever way you're looking at it. A little bit of a backstory on this. I was actually cleaning up my desk, and I like to kind of sometimes cut out sections of decal, the decal card, so that I have the subgroups for different things: interior, wheels, tires, that kind of thing, right? So under hood. That way I feel like I don't miss anything and leave something on the card by accident. So while I was cleaning up my desk, I had a cup of water sitting right here, and I went to put a roll of tape back in my little box right there, and I heard a bloop. And I'm like, what the heck was that? So I looked at the bottom of my hand. I was like, no, there's nothing, nothing on there. And then I noticed floating in the top of my little glass of water is the decal sheet for the wheels and tires. And yes, I said, oh no, a lot. No, I didn't say, oh no, the swear jar is now full, so I can afford to go to Disneyland now. But I said a lot of words, and quickly, I already had the tires on the wheels. I quickly set about decaling all 4 wheels and tires at the same time, lickety split. It was the fastest I ever decaled something, and it came out looking great. So yeah, I mean, my upper lip was sweating on that one. I was panicking that we were not going to have decals to put on there because that card sucked up that, and it was room temperature water, so it sucked up that water fast. It wasn't heated or anything. Decals look great. Thank goodnesses the fingers were crossed on that one. So there we go. And then so we got those 2 guys going on. We also got Fred and Wilma up there. They're still languishing on the little disc of shame. But I've been kind of feeling sort of Star Trek-y lately, and I decided to dig this one out of the stash, get to work on the NX-01. This is the refit version, so it's going to have this lower hull down here. And the reason why I pulled this guy out and started working on it was I've been thinking a lot about Trekworks Boyd, who we lost last year, and also a great guy in our community, old Chris Cortell. This is definitely something that would have been in their wheelhouses. So I thought, you know what? It's time I do something, and just because I'm thinking of those guys. So decided to get out this old boy and get to work on it. So I do have the lower hull just press fit into place here. This is basically a snap kit. I have the lower hull press fit in here so I could get the angle of these little guys here correct and have them cemented in place. But we'll pop that off here shortly. We did glue together the saucer shape, and now we got to do the booms. These are complicated things going on back here. There's a lot of different lines going on, different angles and stuff. You see that gappage there? That's ugly. So what we're going to end up doing is putting a little bit of cement, clamping, a little bit of cement, clamping, a little bit, sort of stitching it together. And then whatever doesn't seal together that way, we'll go back with some super thin styrene rod and some cement and just dribble it in there and sort of weld up the seams and then file it all down and make it all nice and pretty. And then, so there's that. So I'll have to pull this off here so I can get in there a little easier. But this has its own set of issues. Look at that. I don't think Starfleet would let that fly. But who knows? Maybe it was built by the lowest bidder. But there we go. So we're going to be putting that back in there and filling that in. So we're very, very close to actually putting some primer on this guy and moving forward on that. But one step forward, one step back type of thing. But yeah, we want to build this in honor of Boyd and Chris. So there's that. And then I guess that's going to be it for now because that's enough. Well, I'll talk to you a little bit later on. Thanks for sticking around if you stuck around this far because you know what time it is. That's right, Dean. It's cookie time. All right, guys. We will talk to you a little bit later on. Thanks for sticking with us. We have had a lot going on in our lives and just trying to get caught up. So we'll talk to you later. Y'all take it easy and we'll see you again. Bye.